A temperature swing is about to happen that we haven't seen in decades. And the next 7 days will completely flip winter on its head. Right now, wind chills are at minus 40 degrees in the Midwest. By Friday, those same locations could hit 80 degrees. That's a 120-degree swing in less than a week. In the next 90 seconds, I'll show you why this rare setup is developing. At the 4-minute mark, you'll see exactly when the warm-up hits your area. And at the 7-minute mark, I'll reveal what this means for Christmas week that nobody's talking about. But first, let me tell you about what's happening right now, because it's absolutely critical. Life-threatening cold has arrived. This isn't just uncomfortable, this is dangerous. Wind chills of minus 40 degrees are hitting the Midwest and Ohio Valley right now. Actual temperatures have dropped to minus 20 in some locations. At minus 40 wind chill, exposed skin freezes in 10 minutes. Maybe less. But here's the shocking twist that changes everything. This brutal cold won't last. In fact, it's about to reverse so dramatically that meteorologists are calling this a rare winter setup. Within 72 hours, a weather pattern change will begin. That will send temperatures soaring by 60 to 80 degrees in just days. Let me repeat that. 60 to 80 degree temperature increase. In some areas, in less than a week. This is the kind of temperature swing we might see once every 10 or 20 years, and it's happening right before Christmas. But that dramatic warm-up creates new problems. Rapid snowmelt, flooding from runoff. And then, just when you think winter is over, another Arctic blast arrives. The pattern is setting up for multiple large storms before Christmas. The Pacific Northwest is about to get hammered with flooding rains. Rivers that are already swollen could reach catastrophic levels, and the active pattern is reloading snow chances across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast later this week. So here's the question you need to be asking. What does this rare setup mean for you? Because the answer depends on where you live and what the next 7 days bring. And those 7 days are going to be unlike anything we've seen this winter. Let me start by showing you what just happened in the last 24 hours, because it sets up what comes next. The snowstorm we forecast on this channel performed exactly as predicted. In fact, it overperformed in many areas. Tilton, Illinois, recorded over 8 inches of snow, the highest total so far. But widespread, 3 to 7 inch totals fell across the entire Midwest. Central Illinois saw widespread 6 to 8 inches. This was a significant snowfall event. But here's the crazy part. Indianapolis just recorded its second snowiest start to winter on record. And that record goes back to 1884, 140 years of data. Think about that for a moment. This winter is already in the top 2 for snow in Indianapolis through mid-December. And we're just getting started. Right now, the storm is winding down, but snow is still falling this morning across southern New England, New York City, and back into Virginia. It'll continue through lunchtime today. After that, most areas will be done. But if you're watching the Patriots and Bills game today, it'll be snowing when that game starts in southeastern Massachusetts. Cape Cod will continue seeing light to moderate snow through 3 to 4 p.m. Lake Erie will add some lake-effect snow. And tomorrow, Monday, another shot of snow is possible across the Northeast. Mainly light, but areas like New York City and Washington, D.C. are seeing snowfall, something we haven't seen much of in recent winters. The totals for today will add up. Most areas from southern New England to D.C. and New York City will pick up 2 to 4 inches, but plenty of locations, including New York City, Long Island, and southeastern Pennsylvania, could see 5 to 6 inches. Cape Cod, with snow continuing through the evening, could end up with 6 to 7 inches total. Now, here's where the forecast takes a dramatic turn. Over the next few days, a major weather pattern change is going to take place, and this will change the rest of December across the entire country. Let me show you how the jet stream is setting this up. Right now, there's a big dip in the jet stream across the Midwest. That dip is ushering in all the dangerous Arctic air you're feeling this morning in the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. Tomorrow, that jet stream dip moves toward the East Coast, which means if you're anywhere in Virginia, the Carolinas, even Florida and Georgia, you'll feel the effects of this Arctic blast late Sunday into early Monday. Northern Florida will drop below freezing Monday morning. Areas that rarely see hard freezes are about to get one. But here's what's happening behind that cold. And this is the critical piece. Tuesday and Wednesday, strong northwesterly flow continues across the Northeast and parts of the Ohio Valley. That keeps things relatively cold there. but a large ridge is developing across the Great Plains and desert Southwest, and that ridge is going to trigger the temperature explosion. We're talking about a 60 to 80 degree increase in temperatures over just a couple of days in places like Nebraska, the Dakotas, and back into the Midwest. If you have snow on the ground right now in Iowa, Indiana, or Illinois, enjoy it while it lasts. There will be at least a couple of days next week where you see melting, and it might be very rapid. By Wednesday and Thursday, the jet stream continues lifted far to the north, but while that's happening, tons of moisture from the Pacific Northwest makes its way over the Rockies. When that happens, we're likely going to see at least one, maybe two different winter storms by the end of this week into next weekend. Now, I don't think we'll see as severe an Arctic blast as what we're experiencing now, but we will likely see some Arctic air return to the Midwest and northern plains Friday and Saturday. Then, as we get closer to Christmas, things get more uncertain. The GFS model is showing a pretty calm pattern right around Christmas, but that could change. It's still 10 days away. Let me walk you through the temperature anomalies, because this is where you really see how extreme this setup is. Right now, most of you are absolutely freezing, especially in the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Current temperatures are 40 to 45 degrees below average. Minneapolis, Chicago, Springfield, Illinois, Indianapolis, all 40 to 45 degrees below where they should be for mid-December. But this isn't going to last forever. It's only about a 2-day Arctic blast for most of you. By Monday and Tuesday, the Arctic air moves to the East Coast. Monday morning brings pretty severe cold centered across Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois. The East Coast sees temperatures 10 to 15 degrees below average. That lingers through Tuesday. But notice the warm air along the West Coast. It's making its way over the Rocky Mountains on Tuesday. By Wednesday and Thursday, you're going to feel the big warm-up across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and even the East Coast. Here's what that looks like in numbers. Tuesday afternoon, most areas in the central and northern plains will be 20 to 30 degrees above average. Many of you will reach above freezing on Tuesday. If not Tuesday, then Wednesday is very likely. The Dakotas, Nebraska, Illinois, parts of the Ohio Valley will be right around average, which means some of you will try to reach above freezing. But Thursday is forecast to be the warmest day of the entire week. We're expecting a widespread area in the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Mid-South, where temperatures will be 10 to 20 degrees above average. Areas reaching the 50s and 60s in mid-December. And don't miss what happens next, because this is where it gets really interesting. By Friday, another Arctic blast makes its way across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. This won't be nearly as widespread as the current blast that's been happening over the last 48 hours. But there will be a cold front that moves across the Ohio Valley and East Coast. Temperatures will drop 10 to 15 degrees. Then, by Saturday and Sunday, very warm temperatures continue across the southern plains and Mississippi Valley. We could even approach records Saturday afternoon in Arkansas, Texas, and Kentucky. And once we approach Christmas, things get uncertain. But right now, it looks like we'll be talking about a torch for much of the country. Above average temperatures likely across the Great Plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, and desert Southwest. Now, let me get specific about temperatures over the next 7 days, because you need to know exactly what to expect. This morning is absolutely terrible in the Midwest. Many areas, including Minneapolis, are around minus 20 degrees. Chicago is around 0. This afternoon won't bring relief. These are basically low temperatures we're talking about, not high temperatures. Many areas in the Midwest barely get into the single digits, Minneapolis and Milwaukee included. Tomorrow, we'll start to see a little increase in the Midwest. But the freezing line dives all the way to the Gulf Coast. Northern Florida drops below freezing Monday morning. By Tuesday and Wednesday, the warm-up starts making its way into the United States. Nebraska, Kansas, and Texas will have many areas in the 60s and 70s. Wednesday will be warmer. If you're in southern Illinois or western Kentucky and have snow on the ground, it's definitely going to melt pretty quickly. Thursday is the day of very warm weather across the Ohio Valley and Mississippi Valley. These are the temperatures at 9 a.m. on Thursday. Many areas in Illinois, including Indianapolis and Indiana, will be at or above 50 degrees. Snow is going to melt very quickly. But those warm temperatures won't last all day. A line of showers and thunderstorms will move through. Temperatures drop on the backside of that line. Generally speaking, though, it'll be above freezing for 36 to 48 hours in Illinois and Indiana. Good news if you don't want all that snow on the ground. But by Friday and Saturday, Arctic air makes its way back in. Any snow on roadways could refreeze into ice. Keep that in mind Friday when temperatures drop below freezing. Friday and Saturday remain pretty warm across the southern plains. Many areas in Texas will reach the 80s on Saturday, 80 degrees, in December. By Sunday and Monday of next week, things get more uncertain. But the big trend right now is this. If you're in the Midwest, Ohio Valley, or Northeast, you'll continue to stay below average. Anywhere along the Gulf Coast, into areas like Nebraska and the Rockies, above-average temperatures are likely for the next 7 to 10 days. You can wave winter goodbye if you're in the southern plains or southeast. The Climate Prediction Center, between December 21st and 27th, is forecasting above-average temperatures all across the United States, unless you're in the Pacific Northwest or the extreme northern periphery. That's North Dakota, Minnesota, and New England. A very warm stretch of weather is ahead. Get your winter jackets back in the closet if you're in Texas and Oklahoma. You won't need them for a while. Now let's talk about the rain and snow coming over the next 7 days. And I want to begin with what's happening in the Pacific Northwest, because this is going to be the big story all week long. Washington and Oregon are about to get absolutely hammered by extremely heavy rainfall. This is coming over a multi-day stretch. There are a lot of rivers in western Washington already at major flood level. Or at least they have been over the last several days. It's only going to get worse this week. We have a multi-day rain event coming from a very strong atmospheric river. Tuesday night into early Wednesday will be the worst day in Washington and Oregon for heavy rainfall, mudslides, all that stuff. Normally, with atmospheric river events, that moisture goes over the Rockies, and we get big winter storms in the United States. But for the next 5 days or so, the moisture will go further north. Canada is going to luck out on some snow, but in the United States, there won't be much. Wednesday, we continue to see very heavy snow and rain across the Pacific Northwest. By late Wednesday and early Thursday, a very intense low-pressure system forms over the northern Rockies into southern Canada. Winter storm conditions are likely in parts of southern Canada. This could actually bring winter storm conditions to the upper Midwest and northern plains by Thursday, and strong to even isolated severe storms are on the table in the Ohio Valley on Thursday. I would not rule out some isolated damaging winds. Other than that, I'm not expecting much tornado risk. By Friday, this storm system makes its way into the Northeast. Snow is mainly in Canada. Lots of rain across New England. I'm not expecting much snow in New England out of that event. Then, by late Friday and Saturday, more moisture comes over the Rockies and tries to create another storm system Saturday and Sunday. Not sure how intense this storm will be, but snow is on the table for the Midwest and Great Lakes. Maybe another round of showers and even thunderstorms in the Ohio Valley late Saturday and Sunday. Fast forwarding to Christmas, we don't know what's going to happen on Christmas Day in terms of precipitation. But I do think there will be at least some moisture in the United States. Somebody will see snow on Christmas Day. At the bare minimum, we should still have a white Christmas for most of the Midwest and northern plains. Temperatures will remain below average there. Now, let me bring all of this together, because we've covered a lot of ground and you need to understand what this rare setup really means. First, the temperature swing. We're going from minus 40-degree wind chills to 80-degree actual temperatures in less than a week. In some locations, that's a 120-degree difference in the feel, in the reality, in what you experience day to day. This kind of swing is extremely rare. It happens maybe once a decade, maybe less. And it creates cascading problems. The snow that's on the ground right now across the Midwest? It's going to melt. Fast. When you go from below 0 to 50 degrees in 48 hours, snow doesn't just melt, it disappears. All that water has to go somewhere. Frozen ground can't absorb it, so it runs off into streams and rivers. We're looking at potential flooding from snowmelt across the Midwest midweek. Not from rain, from snow melting. Then temperatures drop again Friday. That water on roads? It refreezes. Ice becomes the new problem. Meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest is dealing with catastrophic flooding from rain. Rivers already at major flood stage, getting hit with another multi-day atmospheric river event. This is a widespread multi-hazard weather pattern. Cold in the east, flooding in the west, rapid warm-up in the middle, then another cold shot, then potentially more storms. The pattern is incredibly active, and it's not calming down anytime soon. So what do you need to do? If you're in the Midwest or Ohio Valley right now, you're dealing with dangerous cold. Protect yourself. Limit time outdoors. Check on elderly neighbors. Make sure your heating system is working. This cold peaks today and Monday. By Tuesday, relief begins. If you're in the areas expecting the big warm-up, prepare for rapid snowmelt. Check your sump pumps. Make sure drainage around your home is clear. If you have a basement, move valuables to higher shelves just in case. The warm-up Wednesday and Thursday brings rain and thunderstorms to some areas. Severe weather is possible Thursday in the Ohio Valley. Stay weather aware. Friday's temperature drop creates icing concerns. Any moisture on roads could freeze. Early morning Friday could be treacherous for travel. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, stay alert for flood warnings. Rivers are already high. They're going to get higher. If you're in a flood-prone area, have an evacuation plan ready. Don't drive through flooded roads. Turn around, don't drown. It's a cliché, but it saves lives. For everyone with holiday travel plans, stay flexible. This active pattern means conditions will change rapidly. What's safe to drive Tuesday might be dangerous Friday. What's clear Thursday might be flooded Saturday. Check forecasts frequently. Have backup plans. Consider travel insurance if you're flying. Now, here's what makes this setup even more interesting for the long term. The temperature swings we're seeing aren't just about this week. They're setting up the pattern for the rest of winter. When you get these dramatic back-and-forth temperature changes, you create an active pattern. Storm systems develop, moisture gets transported, the clash between warm and cold air masses creates weather. This is actually better for snow potential than a static cold pattern. Yes, it's cold and stable right now, but it's also dry in many areas. No moisture, no storms, no snow. The active pattern developing brings moisture. And when you have moisture and you have cold air masses periodically moving through, you get snow opportunities. Multiple chances. Not just one storm, but several potential systems. The models are showing storm signals for late this week, then again next weekend, and potentially more as we approach Christmas and move beyond. This is the kind of pattern snow lovers want to see. Active, dynamic, back and forth. Not a torch that lasts for weeks. Not a deep freeze that stays locked in place. But an active pattern that brings opportunities. And those opportunities extend beyond just snow. The severe weather potential Thursday in the Ohio Valley is real. December severe weather is unusual but not unheard of. When you get this much temperature contrast, the atmosphere becomes unstable. Damaging winds are possible. Maybe some hail. Tornadoes are less likely but can't be completely ruled out. If you're in the threat area, make sure you have ways to receive weather warnings. NOAA weather radio, phone alerts, local news. The flood threat in the Pacific Northwest is ongoing. It's not just this week. The pattern continues to send atmospheric rivers into that region. We could be dealing with flooding concerns there for the rest of December. And the snowmelt flooding in the Midwest is something to watch closely. We've seen this before. Rapid warm-ups cause rapid snowmelt. Rivers rise quickly. Flash flooding can occur. It's not just coastal areas or the Pacific Northwest that need to worry about flooding. The Midwest could see it too, from a completely different mechanism. Let me give you the day-by-day breakdown one more time, because this is critical information. Sunday today. Life-threatening cold continues. Wind chills -40. Actual temperatures -20 in some spots. Snow winds down in the northeast. Monday. Cold shifts to the east coast. Hard freeze for northern Florida. Midwest begins to moderate slightly. Northeast stays cold. Tuesday. Warm-up begins in earnest. Central Plains 20 to 30 degrees above average. Many areas reach above freezing for the first time in days. Wednesday. Warm-up spreads east. Snow melts rapidly in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa. 60s and 70s in Nebraska, Kansas, Texas. Thursday. Warmest day of the week. 50s and 60s in the Midwest. Showers and thunderstorms develop. Severe weather possible in Ohio Valley. Winter storm potential upper Midwest. Friday. Temperature drop. Arctic air returns to northern tier. Icing concerns on roads. Heavy rain continues Pacific Northwest. Saturday. Warm in the south. Texas hits 80s. Cold in the north. Another storm system develops. Snow possible Midwest and Great Lakes. Sunday. Active pattern continues. More storms possible. Christmas week setup becomes clearer. That's your 7-day outlook. And every day brings something different. That's what makes this setup so rare and so challenging to prepare for. But here's what you need to remember above all else. This is a rapidly changing pattern. What's true today won't be true Thursday. What's safe Tuesday might be dangerous Friday. You need to stay informed. Check forecasts daily, multiple times a day if you have travel plans or outdoor activities scheduled. Have contingency plans for travel, for outdoor events, for holiday gatherings. This isn't the winter to assume conditions will stay the same. They won't. And one more thing about Christmas. The long-range models are suggesting a calmer, warmer pattern around Christmas. But we're still 10 days out. That can change. What we know for certain is the pattern through this coming weekend. What happens Christmas week is still being determined by how these systems evolve. Tomorrow's forecast is going to focus specifically on that Thursday's severe weather threat and the weekend storm potential. I'll have more details on timing, impacts, and what you need to prepare for. Because this rare winter setup is just beginning to unfold, and the next 7 days are going to be remarkable. Stay weather aware, stay safe, and stay tuned.